You know what every good cartoon needs, besides the animation, characters, style, tone, love? Existentialism. Season 1 of SpongeBob is Season 1. You clicked on this video, you know what you're getting into. A square-pantsed guy has adventures in a town underwater. The 29th episode of the first season is iconic. That's where it gets the 1 in 29. Aren't I clever? 129's high memorability is saying something, considering the stacked lineup. Could you imagine having to go against a titan like pizza delivery? I love SB129. I love how unabashedly weird it is. 129 doesn't really care what you think about it. It features only 2 notable characters? Oh well. The pace is way slower than anything before? Meh, you'll deal with it. Let me speedrun the generic video essay recap of the episode, okay? Whew. 3, 2, 1. It's Sunday in Bikini Bottom. Squidward wants to scar the world with his clarinet as per usual. SpongeBob and Patrick drop by, he runs to the closed Krusty Krab, hides in the freezer, and thaws out 2,000 years later, or in B-Tan terms, 1 YouTube upload. He's in the future and uses a time machine to go to the past, nearly gets killed by a feral sponge, breaks reality, and winds up home. Okay. What was my time? Huh. New PB. Not bad. What makes SB129 so different from a typical episode of SpongeBob SquarePants? There's actually a straightforward answer. It's empty. The world lies hollow and frozen. Only 3 characters exist in the story, and honestly, you could merge Sponge and Pat together. They mainly exist to bounce back to Squidward. Roger Bumpus, the voice actor for our favorite octopus, has to carry every single scene. The latter half of the episode is just him monologuing. Do you know how rare that is? We've only got 11 minutes. Dialogue has to be snappy. Can't get a good snap. Dialogue has to be snappy and consistent. Wouldn't it be so jarring if I just stop talking? Strangely enough, I'd say the closest sibling for SB129 would be Season 5's Spongehenge. All the diehard SpongeBob fans can check Spongehenge mentioned off their bingo card now. Anytime someone mentions creepy episodes, Spongehenge has to show up. It's just the law. That one is also about 1 character left on their own in a dead world, endlessly repeating the same actions to get home. SB129 is an episode only Season 1 could make, and I specify that because 24 years after 129 aired, the modern crew made their own. PL1413, a casual 300 episodes later, kept the chrome, but not the tone. The story is on the back burner for this one. Not much happens, and I find that makes the rest less engaging. Of course, not including the hunk beast himself, Plankton 2.0, humana. The original Plankton instead winds up lost in time, and just wanders around town. There's little cohesion, and each element supports only itself. It's more of a theme park ride. We visit each character's attraction one by one. The Chum Bucket, the Krusty Krab, Conch Street, Sandy Streetome. Then the episode ends. 1413's climax is insubstantial. SpongeBob's 300th episode exists. So many shows would kill to get a fraction of that count. SpongeBob SquarePants is no stranger to fantastic specials celebrating itself though. I wonder what circumstances made this one so bland. Man, I wonder if this interruptive and seemingly random argument about plot I made will get brought up later. Hey, the official SpongeBob YouTube channel has a video giving 5 elements that make the episode unique. Great, my job's done. What do they have?
In this episode, Squidward's day of relaxing and playing clarinet is interrupted when SpongeBob and Patrick pop by for a fun day of jellyfishing.
Oh.
The door finally breaks down after years of misuse, revealing a rock-solid squidsicle.
Okay.
Things heat up when Squidward is defrosted by Spongetron.
Greetings, Primitive.
Yeah.
Squidward thinks the only way to be free of SpongeBob and Patrick is to go to the past.
Uh-huh.
This is where things get really bizarre. After breaking the time machine, Squidward is thrusted through space and time into an alternate dimension.
Okay.
Squidward makes it back to his home and is greeted by Patrick and SpongeBob.
SpongeBob, Patrick!
Oh, great. It's just a recap of the episode. Even the official channels are doing this now. Wonderful.
No matter what century or dimension they're in, SpongeBob and Patrick will continue to annoy Squidward.
Oh, that's sweet.
For these reasons and more, SB129 is the most bizarre episode from Season 1.
That's not a conclusion. What are you talking about? Speaking of no substance, SB129 is home to countless fan theories. There have been actual discussions of philosophy, even name-dropping Nietzsche. It also unfortunately does fall victim to the usual pitfalls of theorizing, like it being all a dying Squidward's dream. I find most of these quite boring, and attempts to explain 129's eeriness with practical logic are fruitless. But it's just good old fun. Fans just joking around, shooting the shrimp. You know, nobody would ever genuinely posit ideas like Squidward inventing jellyfishing being a canon event. Surely nobody would claim that Spongetron and Patron are immortal, conscious, ever-reproducing clones meant to serve in the overall grand timeline. Nobody would come up with that when Spongetron and Patron are obviously robots with advanced technologies like jetpacks or teleporters, and one of them names themselves in a robotic tone.
I am SpongeTron.
It'd be ludicrous to say that when even the suffix tron comes from Greek, meaning an instrument, and in modern day is used specifically when talking about electronics, and even the Merriam-Webster definition points to vacuum tubes, components that made some of the first computers. Surely nobody would say that SB129 is, hypothetical quote, a story about identity collapse, about what happens when you reject the part you've been assigned and find that nothing else is waiting for you, end hypothetical quote. Nobody would develop a bootstrap paradox dual Squidward theory with evidence that didn't happen outside of the episode because the 11-minute runtime was reached. Surely no human would assert that the colored squares in the empty world represent the fragments of Bikini Bottom's memories. Absolutely, surely nobody would claim that the white void is meant to hold, once again, hypothetical quote, deleted scenes, abandoned realities, and broken characters, end hypothetical quote. Ooh. Sorry, don't know what took hold of me. Must have been the content farm allergy. From the stuff I've shown you, did you even notice that there are no background characters anywhere? No Fred, no Tom, no incidentals, nothing. Sorry, there is one guy, but he's a one-off joke, doesn't count. Besides characters, the world itself is so small. The scale is muddled. We know how big the Krusty Krab is, plus we're given an establishing shot for it. But the future Krusty Krab? I don't know. The best aspect 129 focuses on is the unknown. Sure, the Krusty Krab is only supposed to be a few rooms at most, but this robot SpongeBob comes equipped with a brick, jetpack, and thermal hammer. Patron has 2 fish pasting heads. It raises far more questions than answers. What happened to everyone? Why did nobody come looking for Squidward? Why choose March 6th, 2017 for the modern day? Why are there no background characters? Why in Neptune's name would Krabs not run the Krusty Krab on Sunday? Is he dead? It's quite impressive that just a few omissions can leave such an empty feeling. Most SpongeBob episodes occur in similar places. What I'm trying and failing with that statement to say is that a majority of stories don't feel like an expedition. A typical plot centers around one location or so. The characters are just around, talking, fighting, whatever. The environment is always just the background. 129 disagrees. I can't think of any other SpongeBob episode that makes the setting into a character itself. The story is sliced up into 3.5 sections. Present, future, past. We'll get to you in a bit. Remember how 2 paragraphs ago I made a big deal of the world's emptiness? That point is only so strong due to the composition. The present day time is a generic SpongeBob setup. The lighting is darker though, which washes out the colors of the world a lot. It's easily most visible in the Krusty Krab. This lighting was a deliberate choice. Production art for the episode labels all of these shots as dim. Excuse the bad resolution of these images. I'm working with what I got. If I could go back in time and grab the original paintings, I would've, okay? Well, actually that would have been the second item on the list. First is getting Al Gore elected. This specific background didn't end up used in the final cut, but notice how the windows are entirely opaque. The Krusty Krab is closed off, separate from the world. A running theme for this episode. It's not just interior lighting either. Our establishing shots right at the start are bathed in tepid greens and blues. It's not the first nor the last time we'll see sunrise in this show, but it's yet another reminder of how differently the world operates in 129. The stage isn't set yet, the day is still getting ready. It reminds me of accidentally waking up super early in the morning as a kid, before anyone else has gotten up. If only there was a shot that perfectly showcased my point. Oh hey, it's the first scene of the episode, featuring Bikini Atoll at dawn. Crazy timing, huh? If the visuals didn't clue you into this oddness, the logistics will. Where's the grill? The serving window? You can't have the Krusty Krab without the grill. There's multiple episodes that even prove that. I'm sure it's just the artists not caring, and I don't blame them. I do the same. But their decisions shape this episode's world. It's almost like a pocket dimension, carved out purely for SB129. This timeline's a bit lonelier. A few rooms are out of place. Everything is angled just a bit differently. SpongeBob dropped on the deck May 1st, 1999. It followed the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. This is common knowledge.
SpongeBob SquarePants, he's unique. His head cleans bills. SpongeBob SquarePants, big sneak peek right after Kids' Choice. His show's a real hoot. He lives in a fruit. SpongeBob SquarePants, big sneak peek right after Kids' Choice.
What's less known is that SB129 and Karate Choppers were the last episodes to air in the 20th century. December 31st, 1999 saw the release of these two classics. Not gonna lie, that sounds like a pretty bad time to launch new episodes. I'd wager that it would even be a stupid time to launch new episodes. New Year's Eve would already be quite poor, but airing on the eve of a new millennium? Extremely bold move. Extremely dumb move. This is rarer than a once-in-a-lifetime event, and you're gonna choose now to drop new episodes? Luckily, I have hindsight to help me. SB129 held the record for lowest initial views up to that point, with around 1.5 million viewers tuning in for the first airing. Season 2 rolled around. That 1.5 is still the lowest. Season 3, no change. Season 4, no change. 5, nope. 6, no. 7, 8, 9A, 9B. It took 15 years to hit this low again. I can't believe that I can say there was a time when SpongeBob got overtaken by shows like Jessie, Girl Meets World, Wits Academy, I've never heard of this show, and even We Bare Bears. I'm genuinely shocked We Bare Bears beat out SpongeBob. I know this is a Sponge channel, but I will always defend the Bears. Peak recognizes peak. As mentioned, SB129 flopped like a fish on New Year's Eve. This was also during a special broadcast held by Nick, titled The Nickelennium. December 31st was all about new episodes, while January 1st featured a time capsule. Kids around the world were interviewed on a variety of subjects, such as what fashion would be like in 2050. I mention all this because it is the perfect backdrop to give a time-traveling episode, one about exploring new frontiers and gazing into the unknown. I really had a blast watching it.
I mean, we can't be totally virtual because the entire world will become obese.
You gonna be married at 22?
No, I'm not even gonna get married. No.
Ever?
No. I never, ever.
You ever want to fall in love?
No, never, ever.
You want to have kids or anything?
Never, ever.
No kids, no wife, no love, no nothing. So what are you gonna do every day?
Get a dog.
Well, honestly, I found it quite sad, actually.
I want to be a president, but it's like people are so racist, and I don't think that's going to be possible because they probably won't want an Asian woman to be president.
Most of the kids are incredibly hopeful. filled with a positivity not yet broken down by horrible tragedies and an ever-isolating world. It's cheerful towards settling a city on the moon, and doesn't even ask why we would want to escape it all. The special itself isn't overly melancholic, but observing it in such a changed context leaves me hollow and longing for the good old days, if they even existed. It's a recording of a still bright world. A world that doesn't feel crushing in its hate. A world that doesn't fight itself over modern SpongeBob being bad or not. A world not guided through algorithms, engagement, and social media.
Computers probably will make us more tolerant of each other, especially when we go into the virtual world. We can't hurt each other, so we have to respect each other.
Yeah, Thomas, about that. I'm sure my glasses are tinted a bit too rosy here, but it's a night and day difference compared to today, tomorrow, the day after. The kids interviewed recognize that things are aiming downwards and need to be fixed. Can be fixed.
I'm really concerned with the direction we're going in, like where are we headed and what's our goal? I mean, we have technology and we have all these great things, but so what? You know, like, so you build a better computer, it's faster. Who cares?
I'm afraid that the world might explode because somebody might push things too far.
Adults say, you know, oh, we take you seriously, but they really don't. And they don't believe that we know really what's going on, but we really do. We know more than you do.
There is something unworldly here, something ethereal to me. The kids interviewed end up being prophetic.
I want microscopic discs, like just that big, that big. Yeah, like the Beatles on a teeny little Exactly. Sticks. No, but you can just hide it in your pocket, and then you have these things that, like, they're just in your ears, and then they're attached to that thing, but there's no, like, wire. There's no wire. So you could be, like, in English class, and instead of paying attention, just be like...
We're the first generation to experience, like, another way of communicating. The internet is basically, I don't know, it's just like ours, you know? Like, we're the first generation to experience that kind of communication other than, like, phones or, you know, talking face-to-face. So, we're special.
I mean, they take jobs away from humans, and then we become poor. Because robots can do everything, and they don't even have to charge money.
You might have, like, glasses that are computers or something. That would be the screen. So you could move your head anywhere. You could be in any position. You'll see the computer screen.
A robot can't teach a way of thinking. A robot can't understand what a child needs. A robot thinks and is programmed to do that, like, to think that all children are the same in thinking.
Elizabeth just keeps dropping insane lines. The documentary's depression is only matched on how well-spoken and intelligent the kids are.
The advancement of science is a double-edged sword. On one hand, we should welcome new technology, and on the other hand, it quickens the death of the earth.
I don't want the people in the future to only remember the environment on a postcard in a jar. I want them to be able to go outside.
And we're also killing our oceans by polluting them. I heard on the news about something about some chemicals, you know, these toxic things, about it was spilled somewhere from a factory. So I think that's really destroying our country, because people don't even care about that. They just think, oh, it's just a little spill, but it really kills people.
A robot cannot emotionally feel how a human feels and say, oh, I know your pain and I know that it hurts you to see this kid being annoyed or you being teased. I know how that feels, but you need to fight or something. A robot can't say that.
When I was Elizabeth's age, I licked a battery. I'm not joking, it really hurt. Ashley Reese's article on the Nickelodeon is wonderful if you don't want to sit through the full 5-hour video. Fantastic piece. She even interviews kids featured in the documentary. Also, shout out to Dante's Great Adventure. He has a great video on the Nickelodeon, and it made me very sad because I found this clip from it. Actually, no, I'm gonna pull that up on YouTube. Right now, let me see if I can, the Nickelodeon. Dante, I'm going to be playing your video on my phone. I hope you don't mind.
It was Riley, me, and the girl, and my other friend, who's a guy. We went into my house, you know, because we wanted to hear the new Brandy CD. And somebody told on her that she went in the house to see the Brandy CD. She got grounded for like a month. And then when I came up to try to talk to her mom about it, she got grounded for another month. says that her mother, it says that if she ever came home with a black person or African American, that her mother would disown her.
Holy shit! Okay, this is getting too demoralizing for a B-Tan video. Where were we? Squidward is flung, or more accurately frozen, into the future. Welcome to the world of Chrome. Where the modern day segment felt like you walked on set too early, the future is the wrong stage entirely. It is the Krusty Krab, the layout is still mostly the same. If you haven't fallen asleep yet, remember that production art I showed you? There was also an unused one for a basic overview of the kitchen, grill on the left, yada yada. In the final episode, we get a chromed version. This new setting amplifies everything off about the original. The spacing is the same, but now the material has swapped. Season 1 of this show is the only one cell animated. That means all the frames were physically hand-drawn, not software-based. Apparently, this episode in Jellyfish Jam were the first to try out digital, but I couldn't find a source for that. I don't know. Every movement, every blink, every word spoken was done like this. That also meant it was a massive undertaking to animate. I've never seen anyone mention the consistent reflections on the floor. Literally anytime we get a full body shot, the reflection will perfectly mirror the character. I'm serious. Every single frame. Look at this footage. This is an insane amount of detail for what amounts to a 3-minute sequence. Even Squidward running through the hallway has it too. The crew didn't have to do this, but they did. They made the Chrome setting feel believable. SB129 once again going out of the way to realize itself. The production is so tight. You loving those chrome backgrounds? I hope so, because it made the painters want to can opener themselves.
In SB129, SpongeBob and Patrick go back in time and they go into the future. And we had a lot of problems painting some of the future paintings because the creator wanted, in the future, for everything to be chrome, to look like chrome. And it's a very difficult kind of thing to paint because when you're painting chrome on chrome, chrome reflects everything around it.
For a journey this far into the future, the crew decided, sure, complete new style we've never done before, we'll crush it. And crush it they did. SpongeBob backgrounds never disappoint. Genuinely, they are amazing, and I wish more people would recognize that and the skilled artists that make them. Speaking of recognizing, a small tangent, but why did they show off Calvin Liang painting a log? That's not in SB129. And hey, why in the background are there paintings from Season 2 episodes like Wormy or SpongeBob, Sandy and the Worm? Grandma SquarePants' house isn't in Season 1. The log obviously comes from UGG, so this DVD special, show design, has to be around Season 3's production cycle. But then, why does show design have the late, and always great, Peter Bennett drawing the chrome backgrounds? SB129 had been done and aired for like 3+ years at that point. We know they filmed at least part of show design in October, since there's a calendar at the start. So 2001 seems likely? But again, why paint the backgrounds? You can't be working on seasons 1 and 3 at the same time. And that's not even mentioning the scene displayed here. I had to dig, but I am near certain this is from Midlife Crustacean. It's Krabs' Kitchen, the one with the, barnacles, I hate the pill. Wait, why does Nick Jennings then also have the storyboards for Season 3's Krabby Land? Did they just invent time travel to mess with me? I don't understand anymore. None of the details make sense. Why is a Season 1 background being painted while a sketch of a Season 3 episode sits a few inches apart? Why is there another Season 3 background a few cubicles away? Actually, I lied. I meant multiple. This one is from Rockabye Bivalve, another Season 3 episode. Did you even notice in the background of Calvin Liang's office there's a finished laminated painting of the SB129 Chrome hallway? Are they lying to us? How can we trust any of this information anymore? Is this real? Are you real? Is Calvin real? Am I real? Hi, it was 2 a.m. when I wrote that segment. It's a new day. My overall theory: show design was filmed in October of 2001 during Season 3's production. Nick Jennings, art director of SpongeBob, shows us 2 artists working on the show. Calvin Liang was painting a log for Season 3's UGG. Behind it, you can also spot another painting he was working on for the same episode. Peter Bennett was likely working on some Season 3 backgrounds as well, maybe even UGG. He grabbed some old copy or unused canvas or whatever from SB129 and paints on it for the camera. Jennings and Bennett act like this is a new developing painting so show design can have a cool scene talking about the difficulties of Chrome. If we were shown 2 background artists making similar pieces for the same episode, the behind the scenes video wouldn't be as interesting. Maybe featuring the Chrome stuff was a requirement by the show design crew, or Jennings, or a producer, or some other party I can't fathom. I do not know why Chrome specifically was brought up for show design.
They're probably not really gonna pull that idea of Chrome off too well if they're that dark. And you make sure that you shift this entire painting a little bit more cool. Right now it tends to look a little bit too gray. Let's take a look at it after that. All right? All right, good. Thanks.
Them working on SB129 here is fake. Calvin's segment is true. He was working on UGG when Nick Jennings approached. The conversation between Jennings and Bennett is staged. 129 ended production long ago. This is also why Jennings misremembers the plot at the start, substituting Sponge and Pat in for Squidward.
In SB129, SpongeBob and Patrick go back in time and they go into the future.
And with that, I can say the SpongeBob wiki was wrong. They say, quote, according to the show design special feature on the nautical nonsense and blah 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 blah, it's stated by Nick Jennings how this episode was originally going to be about SpongeBob and Patrick time traveling, but the idea was replaced with Squidward. I do not believe this. I claim Jennings misremembered. It had been more than 3 years since SB129 aired. I do not think it was ever about SpongeBob and Patrick time traveling. Eat your heart out, fandom, if you even have one. The visual aspect wasn't the only rocky part either. When Squidward's reality folds in on itself, a washing machine cycle of various SpongeBob tracks crash together. Each one fights for priority in a decaying mix. That effect was real. Boom! Electronic Musician, a monthly magazine on music production and digital audio. Boom! Nicholas Carr, main SpongeBob music editor and composer. Boom! June 2000, page 88. Quote, cool effects can come from the most unlikely sources. Recently, the soft splice drive crashed in the middle of a show and began playing back the music tracks in a crazed, fragmented fashion. The bizarre audio glitch was the perfect musical effect for a time machine sequence. Carr sampled the sound, doctored it up with some delays and additional music beds, and flew it into the show. The director nearly fell out of his chair. He loved it. How cool is that? Both the audio and visuals of the episode were a battle. Good Neptune above. What a testament of skill, determination, and love for this show. I'm glad everyone's work was given a great first airing so that the largest number of possible fans could see it. It'd be a real shame to drop the ball on that, huh? And I don't mean the Times Square one. Right, sorry, I keep digging into tangents. Squidward wakes up in the future. He finds the Electron, Spongetron and Patron, and goes in their convenient time machine. He blasts to the past, back before manners were invented. What I absolutely love here is the complete 180. So far the episode has had isolated spacing and a limited color palette, especially in the future. In this primordial time, all those decisions have yet to be formed. Screw architecture, buildings, and any kind of man-made design. Even the most basic of basic SpongeBob world-building features is gone. The sky flowers. You might have noticed they were there even in the Chrome world. Instead, a murky fog slithers over this whole environment. No beeps and boops of technology sound. Instead, whale cries reverberate off the old soil. Note how we get an outside establishing shot. Unfortunately, it isn't that helpful. As Squid marches among unknown whines and distant rattles, the foreground blocks him out. Even we, the viewer, are not safe from this wild land. It gives the perspective like we're stalking poor Mr. Tennis Balls. This area would become the land for the Krusty Krab. Now, instead of an open, sterile building, a cramped, packed-in jungle dominates the frame. This place doesn't even look like SpongeBob anymore. We're this far into the video, and I have yet to mention the music, besides when the audio software crashes. The tracks themselves are fairly standard, but I find some intriguing. First, what song starts this entire episode? One titled Lonely on the Beach. Come on, tell me SB129 isn't about being alone. Second, and way more importantly, at the start when Squid talks with these two, a version of the show's closing theme plays. You know, the credits one that gives some people the creeps. I would play it here, but I am madly in love with my paycheck. Sorry. Maybe I'll risk it and we'll see how it goes. When the Squidward popsicle thaws, a new version of that theme plays. It's recognizable as the closing theme, but now layered with circuits and zaps and doodads. The main melody gets bit crushed. Do you see what they are doing here? The creators are using the background art and music in tandem to tell a story of change, a story of Bikini Bottom, a story of time. I can't even begin to express how amazing this is. No other episode mixes storytelling with what is supposed to be auxiliary assets. This amount of work and cohesion is so unexpected for SpongeBob SquarePants. Right now, think of any episode. Tell me, does it use the background changing as a plot point?
Hurry, SpongeBob! I think it's getting dark.
Okay, yes, technically it signifies time passing and a location change, but you get what I mean. The environment itself is a character. That's what I'm getting at. If you're really clever though, or if this is your 5th time rewatching my video, you know who you are, you might have thought ahead. If the modern day uses the original closing theme when Squid talks to Sponge and Pat, and then uses a future mix when talking to Spongetron, what about the past? Recognize that? It's empty. The main melody is gone. The backing and foundation of the song stays, but nothing more. The less developed theme pairs with the less developed world. The song itself feels muffled, dampened by the overgrown vegetation. This is amazing! Also, we can agree this is definitely the creepiest of the 3 closing themes, right? While we're still on the creepy element, Primitive Sponge and his sea star friend scared me as a kid. Them stalking Squidward through the trees, the minimal sound design, the fast cuts, Pat just doing whatever this is. Ugh. They can't even speak. The two communicate only through grunts and howls. SpongeBob isn't supposed to be mean, he's shaped like a friend. But that is not SpongeBob. That is a feral creature. Our ancestors are having fun with a jellyfish and something something, this is a meme. Squidward teaches the two how to jellyfish to get them to go away. Bad move. His clarinet playing is so awful, not even the simpletons like it. They hunt and chase the poor octopus back into the time machine. Desperate for safety, Squidward slams down its lever, snapping it. He learns the horrors of online gambling and is expunged from the universe. Welcome to nowhere. Echo! 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 Echo. That's cool. Sorry for the flashbang if you're watching this at night. I'm probably editing this video in the dark, so we're both suffering. The white void is always the crux of any and every SB129 analysis. Did Squidward die? Is he in purgatory or limbo? Did he go so far into the future he wound up at the death of the universe? I don't know. For all the fantastic production stories I've told you thus far, I have nothing for the empty expanse of white. I do not know nor begin to know what any of this scene means, and honestly, I respect the episode for not telling me. Good news, we don't have to worry about the dense jungle of the past or the reflective Y2K world. Bad news, we are completely alone. Alone. What? Oh, wonderful. They're here too. Wherever or whenever nowhere is, it stretches and contorts this episode into absolute nothingness. Rather than a confusing or changed world like we've seen, this one is unknowable. You can't understand it because it doesn't exist. The one place Squidward could finally get away winds up being the definitive worst. Notice how in the zoom out, he completely blips out of existence? I find it funny how he doesn't even try to play the clarinet in the one area where he probably wouldn't be punished for it. While we're stuck here, what is SB129 about? What is it trying to say? I mean, obviously there's something about being alone. Alone. Oh, God, man, I hate that. We could make some conclusion about Squidward's characterization in the show and him hating but needing SpongeBob, but I think it's more fun to zoom out instead. As we discussed, this entire episode was forged in the fire of the late 90s. The new age was on the horizon. What would the 2000s bring? New technology? Flying cars? Maybe the USA's federal budget would even stay a surplus. SB129 is about that unknown future, the hopes and fears of time. How would the world change? How would you change? Squidward can't handle it. By throwing him into ever-changing circumstances of a morphing world, Squid truly never belongs. Nobody else in the episode gets him. He's not a robot like Sponge Tron, nor is he a simple-minded primitive. His final future is the worst of the new age, one that I fear came true. Everyone will just be alone. Alone. Shut up! Ah! Ow. Oh, my leg. Ow. Ugh. Oh, right. The episode's not over. Squidward rightfully freaks out and crashes back into the time machine. He admits he misses Bikini Bottom, but most importantly, SpongeBob. The machine flicks back to life and takes him home. Yellow and Pink are for some reason just standing outside and greet Squidward. We learn jellyfishing was a canon event taught by Squid, and the episode closes. I've always loved how it ends on a lighthearted joke. Great tension breaker. We even bookend the story with another shot of Bikini Atoll. This one instead, back to normal. No early morning sky, no wrong timings. We're back to how things should be. Except for the whole changing history thing. Time travel's a dangerous action, filled with an infinite number of consequences. You don't need me to tell you that, though.
There's the book where this man in the future goes back in time and steps on a butterfly or something, and he goes back into the future, and he finds that his entire world is in chaos. The smallest things can change the future, and that's why some people think that time is not something that we should really be tampering with.
Paul just lectured us on Ray Bradbury. I told you it would be relevant. SB129 has the densest focus of any episode I have ever seen. Quite literally, everything works to achieve that. Each player sings their part. The minimal characters, the slowly emptying locations, the music growing and shrinking and adapting, the detailed art direction and animation, the dialogue fading to just a one octopus show. It is glorious harmony. I don't know how else to describe it. Everything just clicks. Also, if you didn't believe me about the closing music themes, you would be right. I lied. I lied by omission, because there was supposed to be another future variation of a song. That's right, there was meant to be even more. Seaweed is another popular Spongy classic, and a retro mix was created for 129. That went unused. Do you understand how insane this is? They were going to have multiple variations of multiple songs for this 11-minute episode. SB129 is a labor of love, and I will die defending it. I'm pretty sure if I yap for any longer, some future time-traveling Betan is going to appear and we're going to have time paradoxes, so I'm calling this here. I also forgot to bring up PL1413 like I mentioned at the start, and by this point I don't know how to smoothly integrate it into the video. Welp. I've been Betan. Thanks for watching. Alright, I'm gonna go make dinner.